Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to today's video. It is so wonderful to have you here. Before we dive into this truly amazing topic, I want to take a quick moment to send my sincerest well wishes to you and your loved ones. Wherever you are tuning in from, I truly hope you are feeling happy, healthy, and full of positive energy. Now, let's embark on a journey to explore one of the most incredible natural facts about our beautiful planet. Imagine trying to count all the lakes in the world. Every single one, from the tiny pond hidden in a forest to the vast, sea-like Great Lakes. It seems like an impossible task, right? Now, imagine that one country, all on its own, has more of these lakes than every other country on Earth put together. This isn't a hypothetical scenario or an exaggeration. This is a real, geographical fact. That country is Canada. It is a nation defined by its freshwater, a land where the glint of the sun hitting a lake is as common a sight as a road or a tree. The sheer scale of this is almost beyond human comprehension. Scientists and geographers estimate that there are over 2 million lakes in Canada. But that number only tells part of the story. To be classified as a lake for these counts, a body of water usually needs to be a certain size, often larger than a football field. If we were to count every single little pond and water-filled depression, some estimates suggest the number could be closer to 3 million or even higher. This means that Canada contains a staggering 60% of the world's lakes. Let that sink in for a moment. The entire rest of the planet, all of Europe, Asia, Africa, South America, Australia, and the United States combined, holds the remaining 40%. This incredible abundance of freshwater is not just a random statistic. It is the very heart of Canada's identity, its geography, its history, and its culture. It shapes the climate, supports ecosystems of immense diversity, and provides a foundation for life and industry. To understand Canada is to understand its water. So, the immediate and obvious question is, why? How did one country get so phenomenally lucky? What geological events could possibly have created such an unimaginable concentration of freshwater? The answer lies in the last ice age, a chapter in Earth's history that ended relatively recently, only about 10,000 years ago. For millions of years, a colossal sheet of ice, over 3 kilometers thick in some places, smothered almost the entire northern half of the North American continent. This was the Laurentide ice sheet, a slow-moving, grinding river of ice of unimaginable weight and power. As it advanced and then finally began its long retreat, it fundamentally reshaped the landscape beneath it. It acted like the world's most powerful bulldozer, scraping away soil and soft rock, digging deep into the ancient bedrock below. It carved out countless hollows, gouges, and depressions in the Canadian Shield, which is a massive expanse of some of the oldest rock on the planet, covering almost half of Canada. When the ice finally melted, all of these countless depressions filled with water. This is the primary origin story for the majority of Canada's lakes. They are glacial scars, filled with some of the purest freshwater on Earth. But the ice sheet left behind more than just holes. As it retreated, it left enormous piles of rubble and rock in its wake, called moraines. These moraines acted like natural dams, blocking the flow of water and creating massive lakes behind them. Furthermore, huge chunks of ice broke off the main glacier and became buried under the sand and gravel. When these buried ice chunks eventually melted, they left behind depressions called kettle lakes, which also filled with water. This combination of processes, glacial scraping, damming, and kettle formation, created a perfect storm of lake-making on a continental scale. The landscape was left pockmarked with depressions, a veritable sponge made of rock and soil that holds an almost infinite amount of water. This is why, when you look at a satellite image of Canada, you see a landscape utterly dappled with blue. It looks like a piece of art, a Pointillism painting where the dots are made of water. This is not a dry land with occasional lakes. This is a water-based landscape with occasional islands of rock and forest. When we talk about Canadian lakes, our minds often jump to the famous ones, the giants that are known around the world. And Canada has these in spades. The Great Lakes, which Canada shares with the United States, contain about 20% of the world's surface freshwater. Lake Superior alone is the largest freshwater lake in the world by surface area, and its depths are awe-inspiring. But beyond these famous names, there is a world of lesser-known but equally significant bodies of water. Great Bear Lake and Great Slave Lake in the Northwest Territories are absolute inland seas, among the largest and deepest on the planet. Then there are the countless iconic lakes nestled in the mountains, like Lake Louise and Moraine Lake in Alberta, whose stunning turquoise color comes from rock flour, extremely fine particles of rock ground down by glaciers that suspend in the water and reflect light. But the real magic, the true embodiment of Canada's lake identity, lies in the countless unnamed, uncharted bodies of water that dot the northern wilderness. In places like Ontario, Quebec, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and the Territories, lakes are not destinations. They are the highways, the backyards, and the source of life. For generations of Indigenous peoples, and later for fur traders and explorers, these lakes were the original transportation network. Canoes could travel across vast distances by hopping from one lake to the next via short overland paths called portages. This interconnected web of water made the exploration and settlement of Canada possible in a way that would have been impossible in a dry landscape. Even today, for many remote communities, the lake is their grocery store, providing fish for food, and their highway, used for travel by boat in the summer and ice road in the winter. The presence of so much freshwater has a profound effect on the environment and the climate. Large bodies of water act as giant thermal batteries. They absorb heat from the sun in the summer, warming the surrounding air more slowly than the land does, which helps to moderate temperatures and prevent extreme heat. In the winter, they slowly release this stored heat, moderating the cold and creating microclimates that are often slightly warmer than the surrounding areas. This is why, for example, fruit orchards can exist in regions of British Columbia that would otherwise be too cold. Furthermore, all this water evaporates, contributing significantly to rainfall patterns across the continent. The lakes are also the foundation of incredibly rich and diverse ecosystems. They support vast populations of fish, from tiny minnows to giant lake sturgeon, which in turn support birds, bears, and other wildlife. The shorelines are corridors of life, hosting everything from microscopic organisms to massive moose. The health of these lakes is directly tied to the health of the entire country. They are a vital resource, providing drinking water for millions of Canadians and water for agriculture and industry. They are also a place of recreation and solace for people, a place to swim, boat, fish, and simply sit and enjoy the peaceful view. The cultural importance of these lakes is deep and enduring. They feature prominently in Canadian art, literature, and music. They are a source of national pride and a symbol of the nation's wild, untamed beauty. The Group of Seven, Canada's most famous painters, built their entire legacy on capturing the dramatic and rugged landscapes of the Canadian Shield, with its countless lakes and windswept trees. Their paintings are a love letter to this watery, rocky land. However, this incredible freshwater endowment is not without its challenges and vulnerabilities. These lakes, though they seem infinite, are fragile. They face threats from pollution, climate change, and invasive species. Runoff from farms and cities can carry fertilizers and chemicals into the water, leading to algal blooms that can choke the life out of a lake. Climate change is altering water temperatures, affecting ice cover, and changing precipitation patterns, which can disrupt the delicate ecological balance. Invasive species like zebra mussels, which arrived in the ballast water of ocean-going ships, have wreaked havoc on lake ecosystems, clogging pipes and filtering out the plankton that form the base of the food web. Protecting these lakes is a national priority and a massive undertaking. It requires careful monitoring, sustainable practices, and international cooperation, especially for the lakes shared with the United States. The good news is that there is a profound awareness in Canada of the value of this resource. There are countless organizations, government agencies, and dedicated citizens working tirelessly to monitor water quality, restore habitats, and ensure that this incredible legacy of freshwater is preserved for generations to come. The story of Canada's lakes is ongoing. It is a story of geological wonder, of historical necessity, of cultural significance, and of environmental responsibility. They are more than just a geographical fact. They are the lifeblood of a nation. They are a reminder of the power of nature to shape a land and a people, and a reminder of our duty to protect the precious resources we have been given. So, the next time you see a map of the world, take a moment to look at Canada. See that vast expanse dotted with countless specks of blue. Remember that each one of those specks is a lake, a world of its own, and together they form one of the most magnificent freshwater repositories on Earth. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you in the next video.